This is WJCA News. From home. Good morning, I'm Junior Anthony Napolitano. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2020. Thank you to the freshman baseball players and Coach Kemp for starting off our newscast with the game of catch. In 2013, the Joliet Catholic baseball team won the state championship, which is a big part in JCA sport history. Next up, we have senior Delaney Peter sharing her memory of her brother playing for that 2013 state championship team.
Oh hey, long time no see. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I have been spending a lot of time with my family this quarantine, and trust me, it's been great family time. But arguably the family member I miss the most is my older brother Ryan. My older brother Ryan is one of my favorite people on the planet, and I've been watching him play sports since I can barely remember. Though he chose to play basketball in college, I know that this moment was one of the best in his life and something he'll never forget. So being the great sister that I am, I think that we should recreate the final play of the game, and by we, I mean me and the rest of my family that still lives in the house. Not only is it a really cool shot, but it's an important moment in JCA sports history that I think would be really cool to reminisce on in a time where we're lacking JCA sports. Plus, I think it'd be kind of a nice thing to do for my brother, to show him how much I miss him. I think that my idea is pretty simple. I'm gonna be the pitcher because he was sort of the main focus of the shot and I'm sort of the family star. My dad is gonna catch because everybody else is scared to catch for me, and my little brother's gonna hit. So I think it'll be pretty easy and should go off without a hitch. Now, as you can probably see, I've changed. I put on one of my brother's baseball shirts from when he was in high school. We still do have his high school jersey, but my father decided at some point to put it in a shadow box. And if you think I'm kidding, here it is. Yes, we have a shrine to my brother in my house. Yes, I am ashamed of it. No, my dad is not. Okay, so we are just about to go outside and film, and I figured it would be cool to show you guys what our starting lineup looks like, so here you go. Okay, so first up we have my little brother Nick. His date of birth is 11/11/05. His nicknames are Big Nick, Ham, and Little Petey. His position is hitter, and an interesting fact is that he was barely old enough to read when the game happened. Next up we have my mom Carrie. Her date of birth is timeless. Her nickname is Mom. Her position is cameraman, and an interesting fact is that the state championship took place on her birthday. Coming in third, we have everybody's favorite, my dad, Mark. His date of birth is 2/19/76. His nicknames are Game Changer Guy and Dad. His position is a left-handed catcher. And an interesting fact is that he is the 2013 JCA baseball team's biggest fan. And last but certainly not least, we have me, Delaney. My date of birth is 10/26/01. My nicknames are Lainey and Ryan's sister. My position is pitcher, and an interesting fact about me is that I only went to the game so that my mom would buy me a state championship t-shirt.
Their motto, count on me, has taken them within a strike of the state title. There it is.
Now, Those 5 seconds might not seem like a lot to you, especially if you aren't a sports person. But I know for our family, and my brother specifically, it is one of our favorite moments of all time and something that we go back and watch and reminisce about constantly. And isn't that just the magic of JCA sports? You wouldn't get magic moments like this at just any school. JCA is special. I don't know about you, but I don't know any other school that takes so much pride in their sports. Sports are such a big part of our JCA community, and I think that it's what makes it so special. I know that for our community specifically, one of the hardest parts of quarantine has been the lack of sports activity. There's no sports on TV, we can't go out to see a professional game, and kids young to even in high school can't play the sports that they love because of what's going on in our world. That's why I thought it was important for me and my family to take the time to remember a good sports moment in JCA history, because it's so important and integral to the way that our school functions. And while we can't have new sports, why not reminisce and bask in the glory of the good old days when we could? I can say that even as a student who never participated in sports at JCA, that they have had a huge impact on not only my high school career, but my life way before that. I know I have family sports history there, and it's a really important part of my life. So these sports affect everybody. So thank you, JCA, for phenomenal 4 years of sports memories that I will never forget and will definitely be telling my kids about. Now, one last time before our time here is over, go Hill.
Thank you, Delaney. I also agree that it is great playing sports for JCA. Whether you are playing the sport or participating in the Hill Zone, is definitely something that makes being a part of our school very special. And I know that I will cherish my last year as a Hillman. A lot of our athletes are missing playing spring sports. For this newscast, we are going to focus on the game of baseball, America's favorite pastime. Next up, we have a few of our seniors who are going to reminisce on some of their favorite memories playing baseball for the Hillman.
So my favorite baseball memory here at Joliet Catholic would have to be when we were playing Marist at Marist, and the benches started clearing after a close play at the plate between one of our players and their catcher, and their catcher didn't agree with what our player did at the plate, and he started shoving our player around. Benches started clearing, coaches getting tossed during the game, and it made it one of my favorite memories at Joliet Catholic in a baseball uniform, because we ended up winning that game after we were down, and beating Marist is always the best thing ever. So that was definitely one of my favorite memories at Joliet Catholic, because it's never happened to me in my life with the benches clearing. I'm sure it hasn't happened to many of our players. So that's definitely one of my favorite memories in a baseball uniform.
My favorite JCA baseball memory, besides all the games and all the memories I made, is probably when the tarp flew on top of the dugout.
My favorite memory from my JCA baseball years have to be the Turkey Bowl we did with all the juniors and seniors the day of Thanksgiving.
My favorite JCA baseball memory was the ALS game where we surprised Coach Kemp, because he didn't know how to react, and I thought it was a great game, and it was a really good memory. So
my favorite memory about JCA baseball is when we were playing Joliet West when we were sophomores, and Westy was hitting, and he hit a ball off the center field wall, and then so he was walking, kind of like jogging around the bases because he thought it was out, and then he got a double out of it, and he's like standing at second base, like hitting his hands together above the top of his head. And Kemp just like screams at him, and then proceeded to scream at us like we did something, it was just super funny, and we still like talk about it to this day. And another thing about JCA, like our sophomore year, which kind of led to it, is that we had assigned seats in our dugout, and yeah, so we had to sit in the same seat or stand in the same place every game.
Favorite memory from baseball at JCA was the first game of sectionals last year. We were down a few runs, I think, in the ninth, and then we scored about 3 in the top of the ninth, and it was just really fun to be part of, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
My favorite JCA baseball memory is when we beat Marist 4-2 at their home field last year.
My favorite JCA baseball moment was during my junior year in the playoffs against Tinley Park because we went down 6-1 and we came back and won late in the game.
My favorite memory from JCA baseball was when we came back in sectionals and beat Tinley Park.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Since this is our last week of school, we will have a new broadcast coming out every single day this week. Better yet, just subscribe to JCA's YouTube channel and hit the notifications so you can catch up on any new content when it comes out. Have a great week. We will see you guys tomorrow. I'm Napolitano. Go Hill.